5:30, I'll call the meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Adam, if you are comfortable, we have requests for commissioners to remove the masks so they're better heard online.
That's fine.
If you're comfortable with that, we'll allow that so people can hear our discussion a little clearer online. And on the recordings, approval of the minutes. Will do.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Approval of the agenda. Any changes to the agenda? Been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as printed. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Kevin, you're up.
Alright, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Alright. First up, we can use the state bid for the truck and chassis for the truck that we're looking at. The only it's like an add-on, it's a four-wheel drive truck, so it's an add-on, but we're still allowed to use what they use for bid quotes. And I haven't got prices on the snow equipment or the box yet, but the truck and chassis itself, and the state bid would be $102,989. So that's where I'm at right now with that. I guess in the past, that's the way we have done it. We did have to use the snow equipment from Minnesota in the past, but we just need to sign a piece of paper, and the state auditors have allowed us to do that in the past also. So I guess really no action to take there until I get prices on the snow equipment or the sander box. Okay, the next, we did get our stolen pickup back. We had to go to Belcourt to get it. The items we had to pay to get it back to condition. Well, we had the towing bill from the towing place, Frank's Towing in Belcourt, when they got it from the person who had it in possession, and then he towed it to his yard. So that was that cost of $220. They cut the exhaust off right behind the manifold, so we had to take it to exhaust pros. That was $325 to put all the exhaust back on. The rear tires, they had different rear tires on that were really weather checked. Surprisingly even held there, so we had to put new rear tires on. They were $304.90. They had switched up the battery for some reason and put like a really small car battery in it, so we had to put a new battery in for $155. And then they had some big fancy radio with a boom box and speakers and amplifier. We took all that out because we didn't know if the owner was going to come back and get it or what the situation was there. But a new radio was $45. They had broken the ignition switch so they could start it, and that was $17 and then a canister paint. So we got about $1,074 and we were getting it back the way it was. I did turn that into insurance. I think we got a $100 deductible, but I did not turn in any of the labor for the work we did. But there was no body damage or anything like that to it, so We cleaned up the seats, apparently they've been, whatever they were doing inside the cab, so it was stunk really bad in there, so we cleaned the seats and cleaned the cab, but that was just labor, no really cost or anything. So yeah, just to bring you up to speed there, we've got her back now, and it's got new license plates, ready to go. Any questions about that?
Cameras are working?
What?
Cameras?
Yep, cameras are all working. One thing, just talking out loud now, we've got room for 2 more cameras in our hard drive. And we might at some point decide to put some inside the building in case somebody tries to come inside and steal stuff. Or like if somebody comes in the office and gets unruly or whatever, we'll have one there. Not thinking about doing it yet, but we do have space in our hard drive for 3 more cameras. Yeah, 3 more cameras. Any other questions about the pickup? Yeah, a couple more things. I checked on the COVID funding for the bathrooms we talked about putting in the 4 shops, and right now there is nothing out there in the state that's available for COVID. They told me we could use the money that we got previously, but I don't plan to use that. It's earmarked for so many other things that I'll just use what we have in our budget to put those bathrooms in. And then Paul, KLJ couldn't be here, but he said he had an update for the bridge. They got all the survey work done on that bridge, and it's going through the stream crossing stuff to determine if they should put a bridge or box culverts. I'm hoping for box culverts. That's what I told Paul. I mean, they work so much nicer, you don't have to worry about bridge rails and all that kind of stuff. So that was the update he gave me today. So that's all I have. Unless you have any questions for me. I was hoping to have prices on snow equipment for that truck, but didn't get them in time for the meeting, so we'll wait 2 more weeks.
Everything has been good as far as snow removal this year.
We've been really lucky. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Anybody have anything else for Kevin?
Well, we're left yet.
Yeah, a lot of one left. Thank you for you and your guys for everything you guys are doing.
Like this is 66. Open up to drive across the field with 2-wheel drive pickup.
And the big one came.
Oh,
Jesus, no.
It was.
A lot of years ago.
I know, well, it's not like that again.
Remember that.
Well, if we put any stock into the old timers' tales of 90 days after fog, you know, we had a lot of fog at the end of December, first part of January. So, yep, and hopefully it comes in the form of rain after winter's done. But Lord knows we need some moisture, but just not the kind that you shovel. Thank you, Kevin. Anything else for Kevin? I have nothing. Thank you again. Unfinished business, COVID discussion. I think building opening went well. That was a week ago Monday, the 8th. I haven't had any complaints from any of the department heads. Candy said it has gone well. Crystal hasn't received anything from, people are still coming in. They're seeing the signs on the door, masks required. They're abiding by that. So we appreciate and then everybody following those recommendations as they're coming in. It's been busy. So vaccinations are going well with the Lake Region District Health with the COVID vaccinations. They do that on Thursdays. March they will start Wednesday and Thursdays. Second dose will be issued on Wednesday first dose with whatever is left over on Thursdays. But this week they have limited supply, they said, and it'll be Moderna vaccinations is the only one they were allotted. And so they're going to try to prioritize people that need second doses of Moderna and those 75 and older that have not received their first vaccination. But everything's been going well. Employees and those using the building Thursdays have been asked to try to park not in front of the building, and that's been going well. People have been cooperating with that. City of Devils Lake's been coning that area off, and Public Health goes out there and removes the cones at 10 o'clock so people can pull up and park. They open the doors at 10:45. Vaccinations start at 11, and they really remind people to stay in their vehicles until that time. We were really worried last week with the extreme cold temperatures that we have standing room only on the first floor, but we only had 3 people come in. So it worked out really well, and people for the most part really abided by those recommendations from Lake Region District Health Unit. So I think every week's been learn something new, improve on how we're delivering those, but there will not be a syringe left with vaccination in it, and that will find somebody to put that vaccination in. And so, and they only have a certain amount of time that those vaccinations can sit in that syringe. So they're doing a great job with that. I don't think I have anything else on COVID. Numbers are way down. I think there was 12 active current cases in Ramsey County, so our numbers continue to drop like everywhere else in the state. So good job for everybody for doing their part to keep the numbers low. Any questions on COVID discussion? Moving on, State's Attorney's position. We've got to turn things over to our HR person, Crystal Beggs. Crystal, would you mind?
Okay. So we had one qualified applicant, so
What? Yeah. I'll have you come a little closer. That way the microphones are, people will be able to hear you.
we had one qualified applicant. Can you guys hear me with my mouse on? Okay. Okay.
Speakers may not pick that up, so you could remove that if
Take
you
it out.
Okay. Okay. So did everybody have a chance to look at it? That was the applicant that applied prior, said that because he went to school, so he did, and that was the only applicant we got. He's qualified due to that, or, he meets the minimum in the advertisement, so we would have to take an interview with him at this point. However, it would be at the interview point that you would decide if he was, if you would offer him the position. So if you do have to interview him at this point.
We would have to interview.
Yeah.
How many other applicants did you have that didn't qualify?
No, we didn't have any other ones.
There wasn't one.
He was the only one.
Thank you.
I feel like we got it out there. I mean, I don't know where else we would put it, where we would have gotten in front of somebody else that was in,
Do you have any feedback that you might get some applicants this week? Or,
I'm not getting it. Yeah, I know that some comments have been, of course, the workload in that office is, I think, kind of a deterrent for a lot of attorneys that are making this kind of money with that kind of responsibility up there. So I would just suggest, after hearing some of the comments, the commission down the road sooner than later starts looking at hiring another assistant up there, because here it is in the process of looking at that and bringing that to the board, but just so you don't end up in this position again. And now, if this person takes the job and it doesn't work out, and they're sitting in the same boat, which is we work for, suggested.
have you visited with this applicant?
I have, and I actually called, I I tried to get hold of 3 references, I got 2 that were on there, and I got hold of 2 prior supervisors. And the other one I didn't call as a supervisor, because he didn't feel like he had enough information from him, but he would just verify that he was employed with them, so then he asked me if I wanted to call the other applicant, or the other reference on there was a judge, and I didn't get a hold of him today. So the other 2 references though are in there, I think this kind of towards the back of this packet, which came out, I think, really red flags in them references.
Crystal, is he aware of the workload up there? We don't want to get into an interview and he finds out what this involves. He is aware of anything?
I would assume he would, he's familiar with, I know Martin and Harry up there, I know he's familiar with, the staff up in that area, so.
So because of the pressing nature of our need, I assume we're gonna probably want to call a special session. Is that something that we can do yet this week?
I would have time, and that would be a recommendation. The sooner the better. I had a couple conversations with Marn Hallback today, and she pleaded with me, said, please, try not to delay this any longer. We need the help out there, she said. And so I'd like to see something happen yet this week if possible with Mr. Cummings' schedule and our schedules, if that would be possible at all.
I did visit with him a little bit about his schedule to see if that would even be possible, and he does have some flexibility in his schedule for this week.
On every day or?
Like tomorrow would be tomorrow evening, Thursday is like later in the day, he said Friday early morning or late in the day.
Thursday would work?
Yeah, later in the day, he asked.
He's doing public defense, so I'm sure he's very busy during the day with court schedule.
Would Thursday evening be all right with everyone?
Same time.
Same time, 5:30?
Just coming up, company on my schedule here.
You have contact with
18th,
Yeah,
Thursday.
do you have conflicts?
No, I can't go basketball.
Oh, that's great.
Cat, Jacob, Kenny.
No, I'll be here.
Thank you.
So that
Yeah.
Thursday at 5:30 works for everyone? Then I'd make that a motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to interview our candidate for state's attorney, Mr. Bo Cummings, Thursday, 5:30.
The other thing is, and I'll put questions together, I got some from other counties or other counties, and then also the ones we used prior, so we want to just think about the Jeff and what we're doing together, bring it to the meeting that night, is that,
That's fine.
pretty nice? Okay.
Thanks, so,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
thank you. Appreciate everybody's willingness to see the urgency in this and try to get interview scheduled and things work through, so Thursday at 5:30 p.m.
You need a
Vote on that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
They're ready to go. Same thing. No, man, listen to your whole.
Other than that, we have, if people notice in the back of their packet, the special meeting scheduled between Ramsey, Nelson County Water Resource Boards, and Nelson and Ramsey County Commissions, Friday, February 26th. 1 p.m. Yes.
Do we have that noticed as a meeting as of the commission, so since we're all gonna be in the same place at the same time? I mean, we're not having a meeting, but don't we have to notice it if we're all gonna be there? Because technically, a quorum would be present.
I think it's scheduled as a public hearing,
Okay.
is how,
Does it state we're going to be there?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Just double check. I guess
Water
I looked
Resource
at-
District, Board of Managers and County Commission of Nelson and Ramsey County. Yeah,
Says necessary
So do we don't have to take any further, do we have to take further action at another meeting following the hearing and everything of that nature? I mean, we voice support for the program, but we basically have to vote to finalize our approval of it after following hearing then.
will, my understanding is, listen to the hearing. But we've already made that approval of, what is it, a resolution of necessity?
Okay.
And if weather was cooperating above zero kind of thing, they had planned to start the contractor on that project as soon as we gave the approval of the resolution of necessity, both county commissions. And that's something that state law indicates that they have the ability to do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I was just kind of curious. I couldn't remember exactly what the process was again, so we had to approve it again or so, okay.
So that is certainly something where the need of counsel for the county comes in handy,
Yeah,
to answer some of those questions, but,
I need to go back to law school.
we didn't have a choice on the meeting, we weren't asked. If you recall at our last commission meeting, we asked, it was assumed that we'd be meeting with the Ramsey County Board at our next scheduled meeting, kind of as it went. But they had gotten together with Nelson County, and Nelson County thought that it would be better suited if we met in between and made it more convenient for landowners of interest, and that's kind of a central location as it runs right to the east of the Speedway where the meeting will be held. So that was their decision. I think going forward, if there's meetings like this in the future, that we would ask them to clear it with the county auditors and the commission chair prior to scheduling those.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or publishing, and I think this was the soonest date they could meet while getting it in each county paper afterwards, and that is one of the hurries involved in this, but that is something that was made clear, and we'll make it clear again, that they try to schedule these, asking the county auditors and commission chairs prior to scheduling these in the future. Any other announcements, visitors, delegations?
I'd like to raise a non-pressing question. Do we have any sense among the commissioners when we intend to return to our normal meeting room?
Next meeting, that's soon enough.
Not that I don't like it down here, I just
I don't-
figure it's, since we're moving back to normal, we may as well.
We're harder to find down here, right?
We are certainly harder to find down here. But and a lot of it, I guess, would be determined upon what we'd have on our agenda for public involvement. And maybe we can, certainly stipulate on the upstairs meeting room that, a capacity limitation to the audience. make sure that the audience would stay 6 feet apart. And, you know, if there was something that involved great public interest, maybe we could move the meetings back down here. I'm not sure how much of a technology, from a technology standpoint, moving things up and down and back and forth. Maybe Steve could answer that for us. You know, if we decided to move up there one meeting and then back down here for another, is that a big issue, big problem?
That is not the issue, I guess. It's just, it'll fit in everywhere, I guess.
Right. It'll fit everywhere. So if the commission's comfortable with that, we could certainly move upstairs.
Maybe we should, what do you think, yeah? We got good distance down here, I mean.
Well, I mean, yeah, we still
Everybody's
want to,
comfortable.
because we have to have our masks off and everything, I think we still want to set the example of trying to stay 6 feet apart if we can, within reason. You know, I was just looking at, when you were talking about COVID, looking at the dashboard, we've got 25.5% of our population in Ramsey County have already had their first shot.
Yep.
And I think we're at about 9 or 10% for second, so we're rolling out vaccines pretty quick, so, I mean, if we buy ourselves maybe a couple more months, maybe we'll be up in that point where we can start to feel a little more comfortable, not having to worry about the distancing and things of that nature. I mean, I want to get back upstairs too.
At the rate we're going, we should be able to be 50%.
Well, as long as they keep getting vaccine, and like Al said last week or last meeting, you know, if we got 1,000 doses, we can get 1,000 doses in arms as quick as we can get 1,000 doses.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how fast we can get them here. So I would think it's prudent to wait at least another few meetings, and maybe by springtime when we have that nice weather, we can sit upstairs and look outside again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have no problem. I have no problem staying down here. I just thought it was worth asking.
No, I like it up there when you get the nice sunlight and everything
Yeah.
coming in the room. So it would be nice when we can get back upstairs again.
Let's wait till the flowers start blooming.
There you go.
We'll have that discussion in a couple weeks. We'll continue meeting down here for now. A couple weeks, we'll see where those numbers are at. Hopefully the numbers stay relatively low as far as active cases are concerned, and vaccinations still continue at the rapid rate that they're going. And hopefully at some point we'll certainly let the public know well in advance that we'll be moving back upstairs at some point. So thank you for bringing that up. A lot of different things at the legislature. There's a bill down there about culverts and townships and counties to pay for them if the stream crossing standard indicates that they need to be changed out. Isn't that how you read that, Kevin?
Well, it's kind of for new construction, so, if there's no reason, if it's not shot, it's not rusted out, whatever, then you probably can force it to do it. But if you're looking at replacing something or building a new road, then yeah, this legislation comes into play.
Well, the way I think it's being interpreted is that if somebody requests a stream crossing standards, and that should be the local road or political subdivision that's in charge of that road, but if that gets done and it's said that a larger one needs to be put in, then that political subdivision is supposed to abide by that decision. And where the problem happened was there's a township down in Stutzman County that a lot of water had backed up on, and an individual landowner had requested a larger culvert or solution to that. A stream crossing standards was done, indicated that a larger culvert should be placed in there, and it wasn't done. And so, and the township indicated they just didn't have the funds to replace it. In the meantime, and you know, this has been going on for several years, they replaced the culvert that was in there with the same size that was already in there. not accomplishing any, and alleviating any of the problems. So, and part of the discussion at the county township level is that it appears that it could possibly potentially be a mandate for road political subdivisions, whether it be township or county, to have to go in and do that. And unless you're doing maintenance on a road or replacing a culvert anyway, or the culvert is bad, I don't know if you should be forced to go in and do it because you have some excess water somewhere. Excess water is coming from somewhere, and
Isn't the petition from the landowners could start the stream process?
Yep. The lot of different mechanisms. Although those stream crossing standards aren't the speediest things in the world to get done. And there is a new tool, and I'm not sure, Steve has been good with this tool, and we're hoping to compare with the stream crossing standards that Kevin has asked for with this new mapping tool that has been developed through the International Water Institute that will give you the flowage of a crossing. So whether or not this tool comes close to what that stream crossing standards is from the State Water Commission's Office of the State Engineer could be interesting, because it could speed that type of situation up for local road authorities and water resource boards that are trying to accomplish these things. So that's all I have. So unless anybody has any other announcements. Going once, going twice. Meeting adjourned.